be up twice.
He probably screwed us all up.
Yeah. Well, somebody was.
Almighty Gleason!
What brings you to the Vintage Bus Festival?
Honestly, it's the people. I've always loved, interacting with the fans and all the rest of the fans that's out here and stuff like that. They come out here each and every time, and we've had the Bus Fest over by Bourne, by the Transit Museum, which honestly was a little bit more better. Got a lot more space, but it is what it is, what Transit wants to do, so, that's fine. But at the end of the day, it's honestly the people. It's honestly the fans.
It's like we had COVID, we had the smoke thing recently. What do you think of people? Things are getting back to normal with this bus festival? You think people are coming back?
Man, with the amount of hits that we've taken over the years, it's like, between the pandemic, between various other things, the smoke recently, apparently New York wanted the smoke, we got it from Canada. But, other than that, the people being out here and stuff like that, it's a good change of pace to get back to what we used to, getting back to normal, of course. And, as long as everybody's having a great time, what more can anybody say?
And what was your, you came all the way to the scene? Or?
Yeah, I kind of did that a little bit on purpose. The reason that is because I know how the fans are. When they see me, it's like literally all the buses literally go out the window.
Okay.
So I'm like, you know what? I wanted to give them their time with the buses, and then after that, here comes the cherry on top. So.
We got the horns out.
Yeah.
So you got a favorite bus in this fleet that was in the show today?
Any of the RTSs. For me, I grew up in RTSs and stuff like that. Even the 5227 to some degree too, because I did, as an infant, get the chance to actually take one in service on the 61.
As much as I'm a real fan enthusiast, for television, can you, say, to someone who's watching on television, what bus was your favorite?
Of all time?
It could be anything.
Okay.
In the fleet.
Okay, so since we're in Brooklyn, my absolute favorite bus in the entirety of Brooklyn, it's retired now, unfortunately, it was an Orion 7 CNG old gen. It was out of Jackie Gleason Depot, number 7613. That bus was the loudest bus in the entirety of the entire Orion 7 CNG fleet. I'm sorry. That was the greatest yet. So, there you go.
What do you think of the maintenance of these vintage buses? Do you think the MTA does a good job? Or?
Well, listen, they do a lot better than what they used to do back then. Now it's like they kind of, they're more so, they got the head on straight when it comes to getting all the buses, ready and stuff like that. The only thing that I wish is that, they would bring some of the vintage buses that's still out back in, like the Command bus, RTS, the Command RTS bus, the 4904, I think that's the number. 1201, that's another RTS, the 6B92. The mobile command unit, held the D60HF Galaxy, the new flyer D60HF Galaxy, and even something from I think College Point still has the Orion 5, if I'm not mistaken, the Orion 5 CNG. So, you know, there's various buses that's in mind that I would love to see over here and stuff like that. But unfortunately, whatever the TA decides to throw out is whatever the TA decides to throw out. But there is an outcry for it.
And for the Transit Museum, how do you think they handled this event underneath the Brooklyn Bridge today?
You know, the same as normal. You know, it's like, again, like I said, it's a lot smaller. It could be a lot. It could be back where the Transit Museum was, because you had the best of both worlds. You could go underground and you could come above ground and see the. Yeah, no problem, man. No problem. Yeah, you can go up above ground and you know, see the buses. You can go.
I'm so sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Peace, Knuckles. I'll see you next time.
All right, bro. Yeah. So you can go above ground, and you can also go below ground and see what the underground looks like in the Transit Museum, which is fantastic all around. So it's the 2-in-1 combo. You know, the 2-piece and a biscuit that in transit that is much needed. And I'm like, you know, with the Brooklyn Bridge, it's fine. It's cool, but it could be better. Could be better.
You got anything that, you know, the rail fans and the bus fans, you know, they seem pumped up to see these vintage buses. What do you think of the outpouring of support for the MTA, the Transit Museum, and the turnout? What do you think of that?
Well, Well, the fans' hearts are in the right place. You know, they have every right to be excited about like all the vintage buses and stuff like that that's come out here and stuff like that. And you know, and on top of that, the hype is real. Listen, these are the buses that most of us grew up off of and stuff like that. And it's like to see them in active service, to see them actually move and stuff like that, to see them literally dressed up the way they needed to be dressed up all these years and stuff like that, and without the damages and all of that stuff, just to see them in like brand new looking condition, even though they're not new, it's a sight to see. And honestly, you know, again, the attention is well deserved.
So what are you going to be doing after this vintage bus festival?
Oh, your boy's probably going to grab something to eat.
You have anything else to say? Can you like give me a summary for television? You know, shorten it up. You know?
Well, basically, you know, if you're a transit fan, you know, you look on the outside looking in, and you want to be a part of that type of world, then, you know, feel free to look up anything that the MTA has to offer. You know, on the MTA site, you can go to mta.info, and you can see all of it from right then and there. They have a site that shows you whatever it is going on and stuff like that. You can also see what I'm doing as well on a personal tip, the Super Subway Brothers, my YouTube channel, where we review all things New York City Transit. And we also have other events that we also participate in too, which clearly you can see right now. But yeah, but literally, if you're on the outside looking in and you want to join the community, the transit community is as crazy as it is. It is a cool place to be at, because there's a lot that can happen in the transit community.
Can you spell your name?
Oh, real name?
No, you can get both.
Okay. PATRICK. STEWART.
And your name, username, whatever.
KNUCKLESTHEIDNA.
And your YouTube channel, whatever username.
The Super Subway Brothers on YouTube.
All right, thank you, Knuckles. Nice
No problem.
to see you again.
Absolutely.
something that I saw on his name tag or on his tag.
Yeah, I was trying to.
I'm gonna see if I can grab it. Oh, by the way, this is something with Cat. If you
remember that?
Yeah.
Radio Free Radio.
Google it,
I'm on
just anywhere on stuff. Tap it rapidly. And it's now as well. So, yeah. So, yeah, try it on your computer. Just get it, yeah. Just Google it. Yeah, just do it with Cat.
I like break barriers and stuff.
Oh, sorry. It is a bus.
Have you?
Creo que tanto la señalización mi vida
I don't have any water either.
Oh yeah, because I think they were mechanical as opposed to electrical.
Tell me about it.
I live for stepping on buses. But what's all that bad? Huh?
Daddy.
You go down? Okay. Go hold down. I'll hold your hand.
Gotta teach some children, man. In our community, we're trying to grow our TikTok or YouTube. Check out our socials. Oh yeah, let's. The New York Transit. There's a lot of 1,000 followers on TikTok. As we barely just started.
So what brings us to the Vintage Bus Festival?
Well, I used to ride these buses when I was a child in the 70s and growing up in the 80s. And here we are in 2023 at the New York Transit Bus Festival and just reminiscing about old times.
And which borough you rode these buses in?
Staten Island primarily.
And Brooklyn? And Brooklyn?
And parts of Brooklyn, lower part of Brooklyn like 86th Street.
Oh, Bay Ridge.
Bay Ridge, Fort Hamilton.
And when did these buses retire?
This particular bus retired in 1987. However, many of the similar buses retired in 1985 when they did away with the non-wheelchair buses.
These are not wheelchair accessible.
No, they're not. 1995, I believe, was the last year of these buses. Buses that did not have a wheelchair. After 1995, they all had to have wheelchairs.
Did you ever work for the MTA?
No, I haven't.
But you've always been a bus enthusiast.
Yes.
And what makes you like these buses more than your current buses?
Growing up, it's just old times. Remember as a child, these buses were fun to ride. Today's buses, they just don't have that characteristic like these buses had back then.
And you said you rode them in high school too. Which high school?
Susan Wagner High School, Staten Island.
And what antics you would do in these buses?
We would just ride. We just had good times with friends. Everybody used to crowd these buses, and we just had a ball.
What about the window? I see the window.
Oh, the windows. Well, these windows used to pop out sometimes if a bus made a wide turn, and we used to slide the window. These buses didn't have air conditioning, and I tell you, these were hot. So opening these buses here, opening these windows, were air conditioning.
So in the summertime, it must have been a heater in here.
Oh my God, it's a hot box as they called it. I remember them days.
And how much was the fare back then?
Well, students had to pay a nickel, but the fare was $1. So we're talking 1986.
Did you get any student passes, like a student?
We did. We had a student pass, but we had to show it, and we had to pay a nickel in the fare box.
Nowadays, kids got Metro cards and Omni.
And they don't even. They just go and they don't even say hi to the driver. They just go right on.
Do you still ride in New York City Transit?
I do every day.
And how would you compare the service of bus service back then to now?
Well, I'm going to be honest, on Staten Island, the bus service, believe it or not, I think was better back then. The headways are a little bit longer, half-hour headways, especially on the weekends. Staten Island buses, they don't operate as much as they should.
Do you drive, or you just rely on public transit?
I do drive, but I rely mostly on public transportation.
And what favorite memories do you have, specific memories on this bus?
Just like I said, high school, you know, even taking the bus with my mom and dad as a kid, just riding them, you know, to where we had to go. We did shopping or my grandmother's house in Brooklyn and things like that. But like I said, yeah, it's just good times, good memories.
How many other buses you saw today?
I saw just about all the other ones here. They have a newer version called the Blitz, which was built in 1971, which is now a white bus, the last paint scheme. And they also have over here the first, what they call Fishbowl buses, the new look buses, on number 100. So I was on that bus. I mean, they're all pretty much similar.
How do you think the NTA and the New York City Transit Museum managed this festival? You think they did?
Well, this has been going on for some time, at least 20 years I can remember. They usually had more buses. For some reason, it's a little bit cut down this year. I don't know what the reason is, but they used to have it like right downtown Brooklyn, and now they moved it over here underneath the Brooklyn Bridge.
Okay. And what are you going to be doing after this?
What are we going to do after this? That's a good question. We'll probably go see a movie or something. I don't know.
Jump the turnstile.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Oh yeah.
You have anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I just want to say, you know, come on down. They have this every year, so if you're interested, and just look on the New York City Transit Museum website.
Can you spell your name?
Anthony, Anthony, Damadeo.
Last name?
Damadeo, Damadeo.
All right, Anthony, have a good day.
Thanks.
See, there's no bell on the side. You have to reach up and pull on the curve. And there's no air conditioning. You can slide. There we go. We have to slide.
Let's see.
Sorry, keep getting in your right. Oh, I get over. That was the other one. I used to open the door now. Yep, 42.
I wonder which one is leaving first.
I have no idea.
So tell me what brings us to the bus festival today.
Well, it's a celebration of all things New York City Transit. As far as the buses are concerned, I think one of the great things about having this bus festival back after 4 years is the enthusiasm of the transit enthusiasts and the average New Yorkers alike who have come out for the event. They in turn have really outdone themselves when it comes to celebrating the heritage of these vintage buses, which have been a much great fascination with their own understanding and observation for the past 90 years as far as the history of the New York City bus system is concerned. So I'm glad everybody came out and everybody else is in good spirits.
Awesome. Tell me about the history of this specific bus.
Well, this is bus number 4727. Basically, this is an actual Fishbowl bus. Basically, most of the Fishbowl buses were designed in a futurist way, as far as the futurist architecture of the 1960s are concerned. Basically, the earliest example of this type of bus was unveiled in 1963, but most of the designs within the the Fishbowl buses, for example, were basically outlined in a plan by the New York City Transit Authority, then the Tri-Wall Bridge and Tunnel Authority in 1966. So basically, most of these buses, which have been produced more than 8,900 times, especially this one right here, Robert Moses himself, who oversaw these plans of these new Fishbowl buses, he realized that these were the buses of the future. So with public approval by the Board of Estimate, he was able to not only give the green light, but also give credence to the U.S. Department of Transportation in allowing more than $450 to be sent to the state to make sure these buses were kept running based on funds within the state legislature. So with the then Lindsay administration, who oversaw the approval of these buses, they were able to not only welcome in a new era for the New York City transit system at that time, but they were also able to really recognize their own understanding within the public sphere of mass transit and their unique contributions to New York City.
How did this bus define the 60s, 70s, and 80s?
Well, in terms of the futurist style, basically, if one who understands futurism as a concept, even though it's been around previous decades earlier, in the earliest portions of the 20th century, the futurism of the 1960s provided that within all things transportation such, they were able to outmold most of the original architecture of the original buses that were built 20 and 30 years earlier. So basically, with this bus, and like many others, for example, which have made various contributions, they were able to really acknowledge and defend the ideas of futurism has on the populace at the time, and how basically it went on to influence other buses of this type as far as the 1970s and the early 1980s were concerned.
You got any favorite buses in this fleet?
I might say all of them though, because basically there's no such thing as an old or new bus. If it's a bus, it's a bus. Plain and simple.
And how do you think the MTA did in organizing this event?
Wonderful, no complaints along the way, especially the rowdy transit enthusiasts, which have been an issue with the majority of the New York Transit Museum and many other officials for quite some time. So basically, I might say that for all intents and purposes, they did a good job, and I hope that this is a clear sign that things are not only returning to normal, but also good things coming up ahead as far as the strength and ability of the New York City transit system and its history are concerned.
Any nostalgia events are going to be held by the transit museum?
Well, we might have the Rockaway trip, which is a fan trip, but let's see what happens though, because it was canceled. I mean, not canceled, but it was. There were some issues regarding about the rowdiness of the rail enthusiasts, and basically one field led to another, and complications ensued. So even though there were some issues revolving around the rowdy rail enthusiasts, the trip went on as scheduled. But I hope this year we won't have the same repetitive motion as they did last year, because if they did, then it might cause even more problems, which has already created enough damage for the transit community, since the rail enthusiast community here in New York City gets a very bad reputation.
Do you have anything else you want to say about this bus festival?
No, not really.
Anything else? Your input?
What?
Any input about the festival you wanted to say?
Not really. I mean, everybody's having a good time, and that's about it.
Yeah, can you spell your name?
Eddie, Eddie.
Last name?
Abreu, Abreu.
And what do you do?
I'm a tutor.
Tutor, but besides you, are you an enthusiast of transit?
I'm also I'm a trans enthusiast, and I'm also a Dapper enthusiast. Which today I've, as always, like it's the norm for us Dapper Dans. I dress up in a way that basically reflects on my authentic personality and such. And this is a Corvette I'm wearing. It's a handmade Corvette, almost similar to an ascot, but fits me perfectly, and this is one of my favorites, so I love wearing it.
Thanks, Eddie.
Welcome,
Nice
Usman.
seeing you again.
I see. You have to wait. Should we go? Realize that government always control the populace of the people. So, what comes
in a way more easier,
multipolar area.
The whole Dapper is cool. That's it. Let's go check out that.
Love big cars, love big trucks, love trains, love the transit museum. It's really cool, and it's always interesting to see the history of, where the buses came from and what they're going to be like now and in the future. So, very cool.
Are you from New York originally?
No.
Connecticut. So what do you think of the Vintage Bus Festival? Like how many buses you saw at this festival?
I just got here, just hopped on this one, waiting for my friend.
Are you? Do you know any there's a lot of bus enthusiasts and rail fan enthusiasts here. Do you know anything history about these buses or trains?
Well, I believe New York has like the oldest subway in the country, and so the train system is, over 100 years old, and the bus system, I know they had trolleys and stuff before cars were invented and horse-drawn situation. I've never been a big bus rider before. I moved to the city 7 or 8 months ago, and it's exciting to learn some new things about these cool old vehicles.
So what brings you to the Vintage Bus Festival again?
Just personal interest, I love cars and trucks and trains and planes. I got a plane on my shirt. Transit is cool, the transit museum is cool, and I'm excited to go to, the bus festival.
Can you spell your name?
My name, first name Ross, R-O-S-S, last name Denner, D-E-N-E-R.
And your name?
C-A-S-Y, and then my last name is M-C-C-A-R-T.
All right, thank you.
Important that show used to say that the media, Hollywood, even the CIA, that only benefits them and not the others. So you see the unfortunately, because even if you know the truth, that's educated, you're being educated in the wrong way. But up to what you think about. Wrong with that is because when you're being told this or that in a way that benefits the interest of another, that means you're being suppressed and controlled in your own consciousness. And in one post I posted on Facebook, I talk a lot.
So yeah, we had to push it down and pull it. There was no AC back in the 80s.
But it's not a TA, it's not an NYC bus.
It's still good, you see how some buses.
Yeah, this is the one they painted us. This is just paint.
The other day, it's here a bunch. Unfortunately, today is also no more.
Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? I don't do that. So,
You could get inside. Watch out, Samuel.
There's one open spot. Have you been in any of these yet?
Do you know what weekend it is? Do you know what date? Like September 2nd?
It's probably the end of the month.
Oh, okay, then I'll be there for that. What about when is Spring of Many Colors? Yeah, holidays. Yeah. Oh, the holidays. Right?
As for myself, I'm doing well enough to play along the way through the usual thing.
That's good. That's good. I don't always usually check it out on Facebook, but you're doing excellent.
Well, thank you, thank you. As a matter of fact, it comes at no surprise that if you see someone post, I write a lot.
Hey, you have very good literature, you have very good vocabulary, you have very good everything on there, you know. It's unfortunate I like a little less, to make it a lot easier, you know. But, anyways, but we don't check out another one to acknowledge you to know.
That's about it.
Yeah.
But it's not a TA, it's not an NYC TA bus. Yeah, you know, this is the one they painted this. They did a good job. It's just this is just paint.
Along with that is because when you're being told this or that in a way that benefits the interest of another, that means you're being suppressed and controlled in your own conscience. And in one of the posts I posted on Facebook, I talk a lot about being educated, you're being educated in the wrong way. And in terms of what the youth want to think about, benefits them and not the others. So you see the lives unfortunately because even if you know the truth, that's in terms of what goes on behind the scenes, propaganda or otherwise. So,
Alright, so we're gonna get going soon.
right now,
Dapper is good. That's it. Let's go check out that.
Gordon Maxwell used to say that the media, Hollywood, and even the CIA are that only benefits you have to wait long time here to some should we go? Realize that that government always control the populace of the people. So what Donald Trump is when you look at the years, you start to see a lot of
The other day, it's scary bunch. Unfortunately, today is also no more than that.
Pretty fantastic. Thank you. I know. Grab on that side, darling. There we go. Thank you. Good job. She's looking pretty good.
Just keep it like
That's a
that.
big long line.
Whoa. How cool is this, you guys?
Betsy's the oldest bus here today. She's a 92.
92.
Yeah. Really blocked people get
A rat on a bike. How does a rat ride a bike?
I've ever seen. I don't know any of the other ones' names. I only know Betsy. That's all I know. That's all I've got.
Oh, wait.
I did do the peace corps.
Wait, hold on, I missed that part. I remember like Peace Corps and on the job market. I It's so hot.
Yo, back in the bus. Look at the face.
They all had the same thing. Yeah. They put the plaques on.
Next time we should bring those uniforms.
Don't think he Pixar. Don't think he DreamWorks. DreamWorks production.
I'm interviewed by
I am a Transformer enthusiast. I go by Transformer J-Dog. And festival today, awesome. I love it. Great. All the old buses, Jamaica Depot, all the depots. Great. Love it. It's an awesome journey. Very awesome journey.
That's great. Can you tell me like the history of these buses?
I would say like some of them have good history, I heard, cause like by the looks of it right now, it looks like it was hard for people back then. Definitely hard. riding in these hot buses, no ACs, no fan, no nothing like we have today in the new buses. I feel like it was hard for people back then.
No, that's good. And what do you know any historic specifics about this bus? Like,
historical? No, not really. Not really.
so are you with your friends or family there? Or
Yes.
just friends?
Oh, friends and family right here, these two.
Okay. Who's your family?
A family member was somewhere, I don't know where, but yeah.
So tell me, like, how many? Is this your first time coming to the bus festival?
No, I've been to other ones, and they were very fun. A lot of more old buses, because you know it was a bigger space last time, so they brought out more buses. And it was definitely fun. Today, got to see buses that I haven't seen the last time, especially that I haven't seen in real life, like the XD60 or whatever you call it over there. XE60. Yeah, I've never seen that. It's like, yeah, definitely, like they said, garbage. XD60, XD40, everything else, that XE60, garbage. Done. And to be honest, if these buses would come back in service, I'd love to see that.
RTS supremacy. RTS supremacy.
Especially the RTS. I would love to see that come back in service. And
get 117 repaired.
Yeah,
Definitely. Sorry.
Everybody wants the RTS back. It was the best bus. Literally, it ran on every single route. Every single route.
5534 repaired. Get that reserved.
Get that. Like, we remember all the buses. The Q77, the Q77, the B77, the Q78, all those old buses, they ran on the RTS, and it's awesome. Just great, very great.
Do you have anything else you want to say?
Anything else? Yeah. So today, definitely a good day. Anything, everybody, hope you have a great day. And this bus festival was awesome. Got to meet a lot of friends, everything. Hope you have a good day.
Stay safe.
Stay safe.
Can you spell your name?
JAYLYN.
Last name?
RODRIGUEZ.
Alright, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey guys, it's Simone.
Tell me about this bus and what brought you to the bus festival.
I always go to all the bus festivals. This is a very historic bus and a very historic moment. They have more than 90 different years of buses in this whole bus fest. Some as old as the 1920s and some even as modern as new electric buses. It's a historic event to bring many people together.
What is your favorite bus in the vintage fleet?
As a matter of fact, my favorite bus isn't even here right now. It's an Orion 5, a 1993 model. It's one that they don't show as often as it's decently newer, but if the one that is here, it'd be the Jamaica buses one behind me, as it shows a fallen and a very good transit company that is no longer with us.
Well, yeah, it's one of the private bus lines that was observed by the NYC in 2005.
Indeed.
So, when you look at some of these buses, obviously you seem to be born in the
early 2000s.
Okay. So what is, like, I believe the RTS is here?
Yep. The Fishbowls, Flexibles, the double decker, and an XE60.
So with the buses like the RTS, what memories did you have riding those buses?
Ooh, I had many memories, from riding in the back of the bus, just chilling after school, to even asking operators to change the bus signs for me when they hit the terminal. And I talked to many bus operators. One of them is over at one of the other buses.
And I see you have a New York City Transit Museum. Are you a volunteer?
I wish I was, but I did intern for them a few years back. I got this as a limited edition one.
Oh, that's cool.
This is the front and that's the back of it.
I got mine too.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
Each one of them.
Sorry. Yeah. $32. You can get it.
You can easily get it. It would help the museum.
Awesome. And what are you going to be doing after the festival?
I'm going to be going back to recording more buses and trains and spending time with my girlfriend. It's our anniversary today.
Oh, that's great. Awesome. And does your girlfriend like buses too?
Yeah,
yes.
I actually learned a little bit about the newer buses, the R211, everything because of him.
From the new buses to the new trains, I try to document it all with my girlfriend by my side.
Awesome. And how old are you?
I am now 20, about to be 21 in a month.
Awesome. And how long have you guys been a couple?
Ooh, for a year and like 4 months now.
And what favorite moments in rail fanning or bus fanning did you have with your girlfriend?
Spending time with her. when we were going to the beach. We went to the beach one time and we just enjoyed it watching movies as the bus and the trains went. Transferred to a shuttle bus and enjoyed our ride down there.
Okay. And what vintage bus besides that bus do you like?
This one was also shown with the RTS number 5227, a retired RTS that's no longer there. The picture I cannot find right now, but I've seen many famous pictures of this bus with it. A lot of operators used to drive this bus. It was retired sometime in the 1990s.
And but you ever see, like, in the rail fan community, there's been a lot of, rowdy fans. Do you see any rowdy fans today?
Thankfully, they've been to a minimum. We try to keep that there because we want it to be appropriate for all ages and appropriate for all fans alike.
You have anything else you want to say? And what's your message to the New York City Transit Museum and the MTA?
I hope that they continue to restore a lot of these buses. There's still a few of them that they need to restore, and I'm glad that they've been improving service. I've noticed it over the years, and I love their improvement. One day at a time, and I'm hoping that the improvement continues.
Can you spell your name?
Keith Sylvan, Keithsylvan.
And your girlfriend's name?
Jessica, Jessica, and then Benal, Benal, right?
Buitrago.
And you are a bus and rail enthusiast?
Yes.
Okay. And what's your username on YouTube?
Keith O. Sylvan, the same thing. Keitho and then Sylvan.
Thank you. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's really cool that we see so many buses. Yeah, we came all the way from where? From Manhattan. And you like it? And it's really cool? You like it? You want to go to other buses? Okay, let's go.
Tell me about it. Is this your first time coming to the bus festival?
Is this our first time here? And you like it? Yeah.
Yeah. And how many buses did you see?
How many buses do we see? 1, 2, 3. 4, as much as we can count.
Does she like buses and trains?
Yeah. It's a he.
He, oh, okay. So, what is his favorite thing about buses and trains?
Give me number. Do you really like buses and trains? What do you want to see?
272.
Okay, thanks.
Can you spell, what's her name?
Want to say her name? Okay.
All right, thank you.
It's amazing.
Tell me, what's your memories of riding these buses?
I remember riding it elementary school and beginning with junior high school, being very crowded. Like a million kids on the bus with me. A lot of noise and chatting and yelling and talking on the bus.
What decade was this?
This is the late 80s, early 90s. Yes.
And when you see these buses, what memories flush into your mind?
I can't believe how small it is now, or how small I was. It seems like a toy bus now compared to what we have.
Do you call yourself a bus enthusiast, or is that your son?
Yes, it is.
Is he a bus enthusiast?
Yeah, more train enthusiast.
More train enthusiast.
Yes.
And did you work with New York City Transit?
Yes.
As a bus operator?
No, in the subways.
In the subways.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I have a question.
So, when you see the older equipment, what do you think of the New York City Transit Museum organizing this festival?
They made great improvements ergonomically on the buses and with ADA, wheelchair and handicap access. Made great strides with it. And better design.
Better design.
Much better design, with every model they have.
Right. And how many buses did you see with your son?
Oh, today?
Today, yeah.
So far we've seen, 5 buses?
Yeah.
5 buses.
I have a question for you.
Does he have a favorite bus?
1 second. You have a favorite bus? Which bus is your favorite?
It's the Orion 64.
Ryan 64.
It used to be, it's the bus behind it. Hey, I used to ride in the B82 like when I was in kindergarten a few years back. I loved them buses. Whew, they were good quality. But now they're retired, just sad to see them go. I guess good things do come to an end.
We were young, we used to flip up those
So, you have anything else you want to say, sir?
What was your favorite seat to sit on these buses?
Our favorite seat was in the back, in the corner. We could feel the wind blow on you.
Any funny antics you take on this bus? You did on this bus with the bus?
We hit a bump and it made you, jump up. That was fun, but not so much fun now. Yes.
So what are you going to be doing after this with your son?
Go get some barbecue.
Barbecue, oh,
yes.
yummy. It's a nice day out. It's certainly better than last week.
Yes. I can see my hand in front of my face now.
So you have anything else you want to say?
Hey guys.
No sir. Just thank you, New York City Transit, for the nostalgia.
Can you spell your name?
You want to sit all the way in the back?
Henry.
Henry. All right, and your son?
Dean.
Yes. All right, Henry, Dean, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
Hi, how are you?
Tell me about this bus and what brings you to the bus festival.
So I know I'm a native New Yorker, born and raised here in New York. I know these buses were operational in the 90s, so this is actually like a little childhood memory for me. I remember, if I'm correct, these buses were on the B35 and I believe the B41 line. What brings me to the bus festival, I'm a transit enthusiast. I love learning about the subway here in New York and the buses, so that's why I just came out here to support the event.
So, like, what do you think of like the current buses and like the vintage fleet buses when you see them?
I preferentially, I think because of the nostalgia, I actually like these buses more. I know the newer buses, they have new technological features. They have the wheelchair lift, for people with disabilities, which is important. But I think in terms of just childhood memories, I actually prefer these old school buses as opposed to the new ones operating on the street.
What childhood memories you have with these buses and what years you rode these buses?
So I am 35. So in the early 90s, my late mother and I just going throughout Brooklyn, I would go on the these buses on the different lines, as I mentioned, the B35 if I'm correct, and the B41. So it's just good memories of growing up in Brooklyn, whether it's going to school, going to the grocery, going to the shopping mall. So it just brings back those memories of my childhood growing up here in Brooklyn.
And you rode in which neighborhoods in Brooklyn? What neighborhoods in Brooklyn you rode?
I grew up in Crown Heights, where I still live. So pretty much as I would take these buses, just various neighborhoods like Flatbush, Bedford-Stuyvesant, East Flatbush. So basically, as these buses, just crisscross through different neighborhoods of Brooklyn, I got, exposed to, just how big Brooklyn really is.
And you are a bus and rail fan enthusiast. What makes a bus enthusiast different than a rail fan enthusiast?
Good question.
I know there's like cliques and sects within the transit community. Everyone has their input.
To be interesting, I mean, at least for me, speaking for myself, I don't really see much of a distinction. I personally prefer, I would say overall, I still prefer trains because, obviously you understand how the subway was built, underground, the infrastructure. But overall, I mean, I kind of like buses and trains, with pretty much the same passion. Trains slightly a little more, but overall I'm both a bus and a rail fan.
And what do you thought of it? How do you think the MTA handled this festival?
How do you
think the MTA New York City Transit Museum did this festival organized?
I actually, in 2019, that was my first year I came here, and if I'm correct, I believe because of COVID, the event was suspended. But I do like how they do bring these vintage buses that you could see from all these different generations that operated in New York City. So you have some of the buses from the turn of the 20th century, I believe that green one there. Then you have the ones here from the 1950s, 60s, and then you have the ones that the modern ones that are running on the streets now. So I like how they give you that both historical and contemporary perspective of transportation in New York City.
Can you spell your name?
Brandon, B-R-A-N-D-O-N, last name Archer, A-R-C-H-E-R.
All right, thank you, Brandon.
All right, pleasure, man.
Enjoy the festival.
All right, thank you.
Hey, what brings you to the Vintage Bus Festival?
I'm excited about learning about the history of buses in New York.
Do you ride public transit in New York City?
I do.
And like, what do you think of this historical, timeline? You see buses from like the 1900s all the way to at least the 1990s. What's your thoughts on seeing the progression of history of buses here?
It's nice to be able to have buses that you can stand up fully in. I think it's cool to see how buses have progressed, and I'm excited to see where they go in the future, and I hope we have better and more public transportation every year.
Do you live in Brooklyn, Queens, or which borough you live in?
I live in Brooklyn.
In Brooklyn. And there was also a Brooklyn bus redesign information thing. Did you look into that?
Not yet.
Okay. And what do you think of the Transit Museum and the MT organizing this event?
I think it's awesome. I think there should be more outreach is better.
You have anything else you want to say about these buses?
No, I'm open.
All right. Thank you. Can you spell your name?
THROSBY Throsby Wells.
Thank you.
Sure.
Preserve their history. There's only two bus coaches. Maybe somebody was driven over.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I like having out of 25.
No cushion.
Oh, yeah. That's fine. I'm good.
It's not that serious. If you ain't got no phone, so it's not that serious. Just get it from one
Lifted his shirt up, put his stomach out. I had two.
I did. Nothing. Everything.
Nay.
Oh! One nugget for sandwiches.
Yeah.